Recently, there have been debates about the establishment of Sharia courts in Oyo State, Nigeria. Some persons have expressed concerns that this could lead to the imposition of Sharia law on non-Muslims or the erosion of secular laws. However, others argue that Sharia courts are necessary for Muslims to settle family disputes and other issues related to the Islamic law. They also point out that Sharia law is already recognized in the Nigerian constitution. The Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde has stated that he will uphold the laws of the land and ensure that any Sharia court established in the state operates within the bounds of the constitution. Well, joining me to discuss this is Reverend Joseph Hayab, is the country director, Global Peace Foundation, Nigeria. Thank you for joining me on the program, Reverend.
Thank you for having me, and good evening to all our viewers. Merry Christmas to us also.
Compliments of the season, and Merry Christmas to you too. Well, let me start by asking you, from time immemorial, leadership and religion have gone pari passu, side by side. From the ancient European medieval times, even straight down to this current civilization. Leadership and religion seems to sort of go hand in hand. But my question to you is this. In the case of Nigeria, particularly when it comes to religion, has it been more of a plus or a bane?
Thank you very much. Let me begin by saying that leadership and religion intersect in various ways. They influence both individual leaders and organizational dynamics. Let me come up with some few intersections of leadership and religion. One is ethnic and morality. Religion and leadership, ethics, and morality. Religion and leadership is what we find every day, especially in a country like Nigeria, where the larger population are people of faith. The fact about it is that religion plays a vital role in our day-to-day life, in the way we think, in the way we decide, in the way we even act politically. Even our education, religious influence greatly. So you cannot separate them. They are actually intertwined. But how do we make use of them for positive influence, for positive result, may have been the problem that we are facing. I quite agree that there are a lot of religious abuse in leadership in Nigeria today, but that is not in any reason enough to separate religion and leadership. Because in religion, we learn how to lead. From a Christian point of view, Jesus teaches us servant leadership. And when you speak to everybody about leadership, every day we think about servant leadership as the ideal leadership. A leader who do not look at himself higher than those he is leading, but serving those he is leading. And when you see democracy as we define, is government of the people, by the people, and for the people, it is simply saying that whoever becomes a leader in a democratic setting is just a servant of the people, because the people decide who leads. The people give you their mandate. The people just give you an opportunity to direct or to carry out what they believe is their need at a given time. So you find that in religion and you find that in moral society. So it is important for us to note that leadership and religion actually agree together.
All right, let's bring it down to what, of course, recently unfolded in Oyo State as regards the Sharia law. We have a sound on tape of the governor of the state reacting to this development. Let's take a listen and then take your reaction on this matter. Let's take a listen.
People may try, but for me, near your state, our laws at the Constitution of Nigeria is what I swore to uphold. And if they are within the law, fine. But if they are not, they should expect that I will insist that the law must be followed. So, we're using this opportunity to say to the people.
I mean, that's the governor of the state there, Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, reacting to the issue of Sharia law being introduced into the state. This, of course, has elicited conversations and reactions where many have asked critical questions as regards the supremacy of the Constitution and then this Sharia law. I would like your reaction on it.
It is clear that the Nigerian Constitution clearly states that there shall be no state religion. But the Constitution also gives citizens the freedom and the right to practice their faith and to decide where they gather and what they gather to do. So when you look at this from this literal concept, since I'm not a legal professional, you will see that the request and the request for either Sharia courts in Oyo or in other parts of Nigeria is not new. In the year 2000, we had similar problem in Kaduna where there was a request for such courts. But probably the way and manner it was requested and the response of some of us who also feel that the request was going to violate our constitutional freedom, we rejected it and it led to clashes and people die. So what the governor is simply saying is what Governor Mokarfi said in 2000. He's saying, look, I will allow you practice what you want to practice if it is not going to violate or go against the Constitution, because the Constitution of Nigeria is always supreme. Like in Kaduna, what the governor did in his wisdom at that time was to constitute a Sharia court and also a customary court for those who do not practice Islam. And so these courts run together for people depending on the situation. And because of the kind of situation we have, we do agree that a non-Muslim cannot be taken to a Sharia court. But if you ask me in practice whether it actually is like that, it's a different story altogether. But what I believe is that the Nigerian Constitution is supposed to remain supreme. And it is clear in simple terms that the Nigerian Constitution do not permit a state religion. And I'm not sure what is happening in Oyo is the state constituting that. But if the people demand and they want to have it, and as long as it is not going to be a state preferred process, so be it. You know, in every system, what happened in Zamfara in 2000 was a simple, 1999, was the governor taking advantage of that section of the Constitution that says states can make laws for the good governance of their state, to now say, okay, the laws he believed will be good for the governance of Zamfara state was Sharia law. And he just stirred up sentiment, and so many other states who do not even understand what exactly it is said they also want Sharia law, and sentiment comes into it and emotions also enter. But I'm believing that what is happening in Oyo at the moment, looking at the posture and what the governor is saying, is not going to be like the previous experience. It's probably going to be a more organized system because it is not new. Already such courts are existing in some part of Nigeria, and we are operating the same constitution.
Let's also look at how this rubs off on elections, particularly during electioneering period. And I'm talking about religion generally here. We see cases where for some positions they'll say, oh, you can't have a Muslim ticket. You can't have a Christian ticket. It has to be mixed, you know. And we see that play a key role in determining the leadership of the country. It's not small. It plays a major role in Faituna and determining the leadership of the country. So I would like your reaction to this.
Well, you know, some of these demands do also actually have political undertone on it. But there's one reality that we have to face. The reality is that the southwest geopolitical zone in Nigeria have a different approach when it comes to religion. Because in the southwest, to a large extent, there is tolerance, there is accommodation, there is respect for each other, there is willingness to go extra mile for each other. So it's not going to be heated and highly tense as it is, or it was in the north. So I don't want to begin to preempt or begin to think that something bad is going to come out of it. Governor Shein is not a Muslim, he's a Christian. But the entire people of, let me say, the people of Oyo State voted for him irrespective of religion. What happened in the presidential election was also something that we may have not tried it or tested it in a democratic era. And what happened? In most of the governance, apart from military rulers, that you have people of the same faith serving as president and vice president or head of state and the chief of general staff, we always have either a Muslim president, a Christian, the vice president, or a Muslim president, vice president, a Christian president. So these things have actually gone up for a long time. And when this kind of idea came up in the last election, many of us, I'm among those who came out publicly to condemn it because it actually did not meet up the spirit of the federal character. Because the federal character of Nigeria shouldn't be limited to just states or region or tribe, but it is about even certain identities so that everybody will feel some sense of belonging. I remember very well that the current leadership came out publicly to say, no, we are not going there to run a mosque or run a church, we are going there to lead. But from the experience and what we are hearing and what we see every day on the ground, if they want to be honest to themselves, they know that it's not yielding the results they want. Because the essence of leadership where you bring integration is to give them some sense of acceptance, solidarity. When people don't take ownership of the leadership and feel this leadership belongs to us, the leaders themselves will have problem in implementing their policies, in implementing their programs. I'm not saying that I like what is happening today, but it is clear that those who actually even champion it are the ones in the forefront to regret it. But I'm believing that time is coming in Nigeria where we will grow above that sentiment and look at leaders from the quality of what they can deliver, from the quality of what they can give. The reason why you are having these issues, and some of us speak out against these issues now, is we are still having leaders who go, and when they have become leaders, they now lead us with nepotism. They lead us with some kind of sectional differences. Appointments are made as if they are made for the people of their village and people of their religion or people of their clan or cabal, which do not give good space for federal character. Because when you have leaders from virtually the same area, you won't have the best of leadership. I've heard even the Southeast Nigeria claiming or coming out to cry that in the composition of Nigerian security agencies, they don't even have a place there. And they are right to cry about that. So when people think that those things don't matter, they matter. But I know that time will come that they may not matter. But for now, it actually matters.
All right, let's go on a quick break. When we return, we'll definitely pick up. Many thanks for staying with us. This, of course, is still Politics HQ on New Central Television. I still have Reverend Joseph Hayab, the country director for Global Peace Foundation. He joins me virtually to discuss leadership and religion in the country. Thank you for staying with me, sir.
Thank you, Adewega. Thank you for having me.
All right, great. Before, of course, we wrap up the show this evening, let's talk about the future of leadership in this country, particularly within the context of religion, right? We are 2023 elections, for instance, showed us pretty much novel happenings, within the political landscape that sort of tailored the future of leadership in this country. So for me, my question to you is this: using 2023 general elections that happened, are there takeaways in that direction?
Yeah, there are takeaways in that direction. At the time, the current administration wanted to test what they used the Abiola and Babagana Kingibe experience or example to show that, well, there was a time Muslim contested election, which you all know that at that time, that leadership never materialized. Then Buhari came on board with Idi Agbon, and we know what also happened at that time. Some people may cite example that, even during the General Yakubu Gowon era, his deputy was a Muslim. But you see, there is a change going on in this country. Events have happened. Mistrust have entered. There are so many gaps that has not been filled. People seem not to be satisfied with what they are having, because of the bad leadership we've had, or the leadership style that has been displayed by those who had or have opportunity to go into leadership. Instead of playing a leadership of carrying every Nigerian along, instead of playing a leadership of involving every section of this country, they play a leadership of sectionalism, and sometimes also play leadership of religion. And that's why the yearning, the cry for inclusion, it is simply for inclusion. It's not because there's any really thing, but people just want to feel that belong. It's like telling me today in Nigeria, you can have a president, the vice president from Lagos, just because they know how to lead. You know, it's not, it is possible, but it's not going to work because Nigerians will say no, understanding this challenge and the situation. In the past 1 year, a few months, or 8 months that Bola have been president, you already know that there has been cry all over the country as if even the appointment is one-sided. Sometimes when such issues come to us, we just remind people that just a few years ago, Buhari was there, his appointment too were one-sided. So until and unless we have leaders who see Nigeria as their constituency, who see every Nigeria as their citizen, irrespective of religion, irrespective of his region, irrespective of whatever identity, go out there and look for the best Nigeria to lead us, or the best Nigeria to serve in certain capacity, not minding his religion or his identity. That is when we will have a future leadership that won't be looking at his faith or whatever identity he belongs. The young Nigerians actually want such. If you see how young Nigerians came out during the last election supporting the obedient movement, whatever it was called, it is because they are so tired of this divisive leadership, leadership that is so one-sided, leadership that has no inclusion of the youth and different demographics. So if we want to see a future where leadership and religion will not be an issue, then those who lead us must lead, and lead, carrying everybody along, and lead, going for the best Nigeria, and lead, not minding the identity of the person they are choosing as long as he is capable to deliver. I've always cited this example, which I'm going to cite now, that there is none of us that will walk into an airport and there is a flight or there is no flight, and they say, well, we have one flight, but the pilot is not available. The only man we have here who could start the plane and move is a pastor or an imam. No serious-minded person will board such flight, because we are looking for a pilot to lead us. And when we go to seek for a pilot, we don't care about his religion. We don't care about, look, it could be an artist. We don't care as long as he's a pilot, because we trust the judgment of a pilot. No one also will go and give his car for repairs to someone just because he goes to the same church or they bear the same tribe. He must be a mechanic. In many communities in Nigeria, those who repair our vehicles or repair our motorcycles do not share religion with us, do not share our tribe with us. But you see, there is so much about leadership that sometimes when leaders fail in carrying people along, when leaders fail in delivering just an honest dividend, then people begin to ask questions. And then you begin to see as if there's a dichotomy between leadership and religion.
All right. Thank you so much for your time on the program. Reverend Joseph Hayab is the Country Director for Global Peace Foundation. It's been an honor having you this evening.
Thank you for having me.
All right. This, of course, is where we drop the curtains on today's episode of Politics HQ. It's been an honor hosting the show today and, of course, having you watch us. Well, it's Christmas today. Let me say Merry Christmas, and particularly also especially recognizing my family too, my extended family, the Adigboye family. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to Nigerians. It's a season to share. It's a season to give. It's a season to love. And more importantly, it's a season to be a responsible citizen. Well, in case you missed out on today's episode, you can actually catch up on our YouTube platform. That's News Central TV. The handle will come up on your screen there. You can also follow us across social media with the same handle. You have it on the screen there, News Central TV. You can choose to follow me personally at Dakpo Adigboye. Until I come your way tomorrow, good night, Merry Christmas.